Hi stroll mates, I'm Fiona, your walk fitter coach, and I'm here to get you walking further, faster and fitter. Welcome to Talk the Walk. From the car park, make your way out onto the road, and we're going to turn to the right, taking us to the traffic lights, and then another right turn at the traffic lights onto the pavement that's going to start to take you slightly uphill. Just being aware that this is a very busy road. We're crossing over the burn, the bridge over the burn. And you start to pick up sight of a gate on your your right hand side. We'll head in through that gate, making our way away from the road. And onto a gravel track. So if you've joined me before, you'll know that my walks are a progressive series. So we go from the easier strollers through to the intermediate striders, and then my more advanced pulse raiser walks. And today's walk is a pulse raiser. We're going to take a circuit around the beautiful Lynn Glen with its gorgeous waterfalls. So hopefully you'll get to see some of those attractions today. And the intent for this walk is to get the heart rate up. It's to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's a fitness walk. As much as we're here to enjoy the scenery, enjoy nature, and that is all a big part of it, I do want to get you fitter, and I want to get your heart rate up, and that is what we're going to try and do today. So on that scale of effort that I always talk about, 1 being no effort at all and 10 being flat out exhausted on the floor, I would easily expect you to be around about a 7 or an 8 at some points today. Now of course we're not going to keep that up for the duration, but those will be the pulse raising intervals that I will encourage you to go for. And you can see that we already start on a very slight incline. So from the start of this, I would expect your heart rate to be elevated. You might find that you'll maintain around about a 5 or a 6 for the majority of the walk. But of course, as always, if you do feel that you ever need to pull it back and just rest, then you can do that. Just pull it back a bit. You can stop, you can pause the recording and come back when you feel ready. If I'm walking too fast for you, just pause me until you catch up. And if you're walking faster than me, well done. And you can just march on the spot at certain landmarks like bridges and junctions and things until I catch up with you. So let's start off just checking in with all the things that you've learned on the striders and the strollers and the striders. Let's start off with pulling the crown of the head up towards the sky, rounding the shoulders round back and down, making sure the thumbs are pointed forwards and the arms are swinging freely by your sides. The core is engaged by gently pulling the belly button towards the spine, and making sure that we are striking with the heel of the foot, rolling through the foot and then pushing off of the toes. Now I do focus more on this kind of instruction through the strollers and the striders, so I would encourage you to go check some of those out just to get a bit more instruction on the postural cues. Excellent. And I'll ask you to keep checking in with where you are on the scale of effort, just to make sure that you're pushing yourself hard enough to make those positive changes in your fitness. Coming up towards a gate. Now be aware that although the paths have been resurfaced and they're all quite nice, quite good to walk on, there are some very muddy sections. It is a woodland. it is countryside and it can get a bit mucky, so hopefully you've come armed with good shoes, good walking shoes, and it won't be too much of a challenge for you. The other thing to note on a lot of these walks are there's some very steep sides and it can drop off quite suddenly, so just be aware of that. As always, safety is my priority for you above everything else on these walks. So do take your time, even if I'm telling you to walk faster or push off your toes or any other instruction. You just be comfortable that you feel safe. There isn't a great lot of seating on this walk. There are a few benches dotted around, but there's not a great lot. But hopefully you won't need it. If you do though, feel free just to take a break. And you know what, even if it's just to take a break to enjoy the place, so I'm alright with that. As long as you're working hard the rest of the time. Carrying on, very slight downhill. As we go downhill, what do? You'll remember from some of the other walks, we sink into our heels and very softly bend our knees, maintaining an upright position just to avoid any momentum on the way down. That becomes even more important the more steeper the gradient. And if you're lucky, and perhaps it's more of a winter's day and there's not a lot of leaves on the trees, you might be catching glimpses of the fabulous waterfall just to your right hand side. So please do take a moment just to enjoy that. It would be an absolute shame not to since you're here. Now, if you're lucky, you might have picked a day where there aren't a lot of leaves on the trees, and you might just now be picking up sight of the fabulous Lynn Falls just to your right hand side. And if you can't see it, just stop and take a moment to listen to it. The sound is absolutely fantastic. The site's a great site for geology as well. It's actually a protected site, a site of special scientific interest, and that's apparent in some of the geology. As you walk along, you might find some interesting interpretation boards that you can read. And there is a wee bench up here, and by all means, if you want to sit and enjoy the falls for a moment, I'm alright with that, as long as you work hard the rest of the time. Right, so now we're going a very slight uphill. Staying tall, crown of the head pulling up towards the sky. Pushing off your toes and really contracting those glutes to get you uphill. You might find that on these small inclines, you might get the heart rate up. And it's a good opportunity. I would make the most of those. Again, just being aware of the countryside terrain. Now, I don't know if you can hear it in the audio or if my editing software will cut it out, but the sound of the river today is absolutely fantastic. And I would actually encourage you to come back on my mindful meander walk of this section and just appreciate it, not for the fitness benefits, but for the mindfulness benefits and just being out and appreciating nature. So please feel free to check that one out. Crossing over the bridge. Now the pace is quite fast on this walk, because we do want to keep the heart rate elevated. We want to keep up round about that 5 or a 6. Shoulders are still round, back and down. The core is still engaged. Still pulling the crown of the head towards the sky, and we're always trying to be mindful of the push off of the toes as we roll through the foot. We want a full roll through. another set of steps. Now as you walk up the steps, here's what I want you to do. You can slow this down just so that you can really think about it. I want you to push through your heel as you climb the steps. And I want you to think about the glute contraction. So you're standing tall, again not leaning into it. We want to switch on the muscles of the back of the body, the posterior chain. And rather than being on the ball of your foot, as we often climb stairs, which puts a lot of stress through your knee, it engages the quads more, the muscles in the front of the thigh, and it encourages a bit of pulling on the knee. So particularly important if you suffer from any sort of knee pain. Just be aware that on the ascent, the upwards, going upstairs, making sure that you're pushing your weight through your heel rather than your toe. And there are stairs on some of the way round here, so we will get a chance to practice that a bit more. So it's a very undulating terrain, this one. So you'll find that you're up and you're down in short succession. So just trying to be aware the whole time, maintaining that straight spine, pulling the crown of the head up towards the sky, and trying not to lean in to the inclines or the declines. Let's keep that spine supported, keep those core muscles working, doing their job. So you'll see some steep slopes down to the right hand side here, just taking extra care. Of course, slow it right down where you have to. You can slow it right down to a 2 on the scale of effort on these. I would rather you did. I would rather you were safe here. So slow it down where you have to. But don't worry, we will pick our intensity up. We will have ample opportunity for that later on. What a view. What an absolutely stunning view of the river. Right, another set of steps. Pushing through the heels, squeezing the glutes. Now ideally, we'd want to be step on the left, step on the right, left, right, just to keep us balanced. But these steps don't often allow for that, so you might find that you're always pulling up on your left or on your right. But that's okay. So steps down. They are quite uneven, so again, just take care. But be mindful as you do the steps. Big set of steps now. They're a wee bit slippery, so you take your time. If you feel actually that you want to come down them side on, that's actually a very good exercise for the hips. So if you feel more comfortable doing side steps, I've just turned into a side step just now actually. I feel a bit more comfortable that way. And I'm working my inner and outer thighs. So it's all good. Using our bodies and the way it's designed to be moved, but doesn't often get to move laterally from side to side. Right, crossing the bridge. Wooden bridge. And ready to come into another slope upwards and another set of steps. So do use these steps to get your heart rate up, and of course the slopes upwards as well. Push off the toes, so as you're coming up slope, drive off of your toes. Your heart rate will be up and down, up and down, up and down on this one, which is great interval style training. So on the steps, as we discussed, we're going to do push through the heels, and feel, put your mind into what your glutes are doing. Feel that contraction of the muscles. Slow this right down. Slow it down so that you can really concentrate on it. Push through the heels. Bring your hip into extension. And feel the contraction of the glutes. to bring you up to standing straight. Again, not leaning forward into the stairs, keeping up nice and tall as long as you feel balanced to do that. Now, the faster you do that, the more the heart rate will come up. But again, I'd rather you were safe. So the first few times that you do this, feel free to take it nice and slow. And then as you get more familiar with the route, then you can pick up the pace. I was taking that slow, but you'll hear maybe that my heart rate has come up. So actually, even if you take it slow, you can still get a good workout. You see there's a bench at the top of the steps. Feel free to take a rest if you need to. Pause the audio and come back when you're ready. Otherwise, let's carry on. So I hope you've picked a nice day. I've picked a spring day, bit of drizzle, but it's a nice quiet walk today, not many people here. But the sounds are just fabulous. The birds, the river. It's a glorious walk. Where are you on the scale? Are you still round about a 5 or a 6? Now I would say I was probably around about a 5, so I think I could work a bit harder. However, it's the nature of the terrain. I feel a bit stop-start. So if you're there too, don't worry about it. We're moving, we're walking, the heart rate is up. Here we go for another set of steps on the way down. Now at the bottom of these steps, I'm going to throw you a bit of a curveball, and I am going to encourage you to get another interval in. So at the bottom of the steps, I want you to go back up them. So let's get down them first. Weights on the heels, knees are soft. Now you're going to want to go down the steps slowly, of course, for safety. If you feel knee pain going down steps, it's extremely common. It's usually, let's stop at the bottom of the steps, it's usually to do with weak hips, unless there's some sort of issue in there like arthritis or bursitis or something. But if you've had the all clear from the doctor and it's just, he's telling you, it's wear and tear or something, then let's look to the glutes, the glute strength, strengthening the glutes and releasing the hips can often help there too. So if you are having problems coming down slopes or down hills, you're having some knee pain, do check out my pole walks. So the Nordic walks, using the poles, specially designed poles, because what they are fabulous for doing is lifting the weight out of the lower body, lifting the pressure out of the ankles, the knees and the hips. And I have had success with clients who have suffer from knee pain who do find it easier going up or down hill or stairs with the poles. But for now, let's see if we can get that heart rate up going back up this set of steps. So let's go, pushing through the heels. Now I am able with a longer stride to do left, right, left, right. So let's see if we can do that just to keep the balance. Pushing through the heels. Of course, if you feel any pain at all, then you're just going to want to not do the steps on the way up. And it will be needs must. At the top, we're going to round now. Take a big U-turn here. Well, as much space as you've got to take a U-turn. Please don't try and turn on the spot. I don't want to for anyone to have any knee injuries by just that quick turn. I have had that happen, unfortunately. And that's why I always encourage a big U-turn when we turn, rather than a turn on the spot. So back down the steps again, slowly and controlled. Core is tight, crown of the head is pulled up towards the sky. And of course it is very tempting to look at your feet, but try not to look directly at your feet because that affects our balance. If you're looking about 8 feet or so in front of you, that should hopefully be enough. Right, let's take a big U-turn. We're going to do that again. We're going to get that heart rate up again as we go back up the stairs for the second time. You know I like things in threes. Well, if you come on my walks, you'll know I like things in threes. So we're going to do this climbing of the stairs 3 times. This is number 2. Let's go again. Now keep it slow if you need to, but do make sure that you're fully extending that hip. That means you're really straightening the leg out. You're pulling the crown of the head up towards the sky. So everything in the back of the body's upright. Pushing through the heels, straightening out the legs, straightening out the hip. At the top, take a big turn, a big wide turn, and back down. Oh, yes, heart rate's coming up. I wouldn't say I was at a 7 or an 8, to be honest. You might be, and that's good. And if you're not, don't worry about it. We're moving. my heart rate has come up slightly. So I'm slowing it right down to get down to the bottom. And I am going to do that one more time. And I'm going to try and do it one more time with a bit of pace this time. But you do what you can comfortably do. Let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now I was counting my steps there, so I was taking a left, right, so I wasn't sort of doing that sort of limping motion where I was always pushing up on my left. I was doing left, right, and I was able to do that fairly comfortably with my small legs. So hopefully you could get that too. Again, just to keep the balance between the left and the right. So on the way back down, that's your 3. I'm not going to ask you to do it again. And yes, I did get my heart rate up. Was it a 7? Yeah, I'm not so sure I managed to get to the 7. But it did come up and I did enjoy it, which is the main thing. So here we go, another incline. We're carrying on in our walk. On the incline, crowning your head, pulled up towards the sky, keeping you tall. Now I'm going to ask you to push hard through the toes on this one. I do want to get you to get the heart rate up today as much as possible, but be aware it is a bit scree underfoot. So if you feel that you are sliding at all and you don't have the proper grip on your shoes or the good enough traction, then again, slow it down to what's comfortably safe for you. Small descent. Again, picking up those steep drop-offs to the side, so safety in mind at all times. The path here becomes a bit uneven, a bit bouldery even. Well, boulder, that's maybe a bit dramatic, but you will see some larger stones that could be a trip hazard. So lots of things to be aware of that I would rather you focus your attention on. We're downhill as well. The rain has washed out a lot of the path here, but still passable, but again it's got those trip hazards. So we're slowing it down and being mindful of our safety. Now I'm just looking up ahead. There is a fallen tree, but I'll be able to duck under it easily. And of course, while I have risk assessed this path, this is something that I would have to revisit often, and things may change over time and with storms. So if you're encountering places where you're unable to pass, I do apologise, and please do let me know about it so that I can update my walk. How's your heart rate? Mine is certainly a bit lower than I would like it to be, but I'm enjoying the walk nonetheless. I'm pushing off my toes. I'm taking every opportunity I can, and that's what I would expect you to do too. Take every opportunity you can, every incline that is safe to do so. Push off your toes. So here's a small incline. I'm driving off my toes. I'm getting my hip into full extension. My arms are pumping hard by my sides. My core is engaged. And there we go. I managed to get a small elevation in my heart rate. And the body loves it. Well, the body doesn't like change actually. The body loves consistency, and it likes the easy way. So that's why we have to take these opportunities to throw it off its game, keep it guessing, doesn't know what's coming next. And that's what encourages our bodies to change and to get fitter and stronger. So although we're not getting a massive opportunity to have the heart rate up for a sustained period of time, that's still very effective for training the body. Any undulating terrain is a really good way of using a landscape to improve our fitness. And this is actually a very good walk for that. Oh, there we go. Just in that small section. I think I'm up to about 6. Hopefully you are too. Carrying on. Let's just check in again with the posture. It's easy when we get involved in thinking about the heart rate or the scenery or whatever, it's easy to forget a wee bit about the posture, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to make those gentle reminders and help you form those all important habits. So let's pull the crown of the head up towards the sky, keeping the spine nice and tall. Round your shoulders back and down to engage the muscles in the back and in the shoulders. Rotate the thumbs forwards to put the shoulders into that neutral position and allow your arms to swing freely back and forth by your sides. A gentle contraction of the core muscles as you pull your belly button towards your spine, and you may feel that slight tucking under of the tailbone as you do it. And the feet are striking with the heel, rolling through and pushing off of the toes. So that's your ideal walking posture. As long as it doesn't feel painful, this is what we're aiming for. In the very early days, if you've come right through the striders and the strollers and the striders, I should say, if you've come through those, the early days, this might all have felt a bit alien to you, not used to this way of walking. Hopefully now you've built upon that. It's just a habit for you, especially if you're someone who comes to my Nordic walking sessions. Your posture you'll develop good posture through walking with the poles. Kind of does that naturally for you. So hopefully posture's not an issue for you, but it's always handy just to have me there in your ear with those gentle reminders. But any questions about any pain that you are having, please do get in touch. I have various programmes that we can look at that can help you manage your pain and hopefully get you out of pain, whether it's foot pain or knee pain or hip pain. Anything that makes walking that bit uncomfortable, we can certainly have a look at. But hopefully you're all good. Hopefully you're enjoying your walk and you're feeling a bit fitter, motivated. Those endorphins may be rushing now. I always feel that a walk helps if I feel stressed or a bit low. A nice walk, it just helps to just get me out of that, get me in a different mind space. Right, another set of steps on the way down. Sinking into those heels. Soft knees, crown of the head still up towards the sky. Try not to look directly at your feet, but maybe maintain a gaze somewhere around 8 feet in front of you. If you can, if you're comfortable to do that. Well done. Now I'm going to get you to slow it down now. We are still kind of on the descent down, but we will shortly be coming to the end of the walk, back to the start point. So let's just slow it down. Take the opportunity to enjoy the sounds and the sights. Now we have another set of steps. These are quite large steps, so it is quite of a step down, but again, just control your descent. Wait through your heels as much as possible. Crossing over this wee bridge. Heading downhill again, a gravelly slope, so just be aware of what's going on underfoot, take your time. So while this is not intended to be a mindful walk, as we're slowing it down, let's just take a moment just to listen to the sounds around us. So for me, I can hear the river, I can hear the church bells. Sunday morning for me. Around about 10 o'clock, so we've got the church sounding out. I can hear the birds, I can feel the breeze and a few drops of rain on my skin, and I'm just going to give you a few seconds just to appreciate that too. you should be picking up the houses now. Housing estate over the field up onto your left hand side, and to your right a wee row of cottages that will take us back to the starting point. Coming up to the wee chicane gate. Is it a chicane? Well, I don't know. Coming up to the gate. And as we pass through the gate, that will take us through, past the cottages. Come on, buddy. Good boy. I've got Buddy with me, as I always do, most of my walks. You might hear him panting in the background from time to time, or squeaking his ball. Nice and slow now, nice and gentle. We want to be taking that heart rate right down to a 3, a 4. We can still maintain good posture, of course. Now just after these cottages, there's a wee white cottage on the left hand side. Just after that, on the right hand side, there'll be a gap in the hedge where there's a gate, and we're going to go through the gate, so I'll let you know when that is. But if you're walking a bit faster than me and you're having to wait for me, if you want to wait at that gate, that would be ideal. Here we are, just past the cottage on the left. On the right hand side there's another gate. We're going to take that gate. It takes us into a field. And you'll see the cars, or the car park just a short distance away. So I want to take the time just to thank you so much for joining me on my walk today. I really do enjoy spending this time with you. I hope you're getting a lot out of the series. I hope you do feel that you're getting to walk further, faster and fitter, because that's my aim for you, that's my goal for you. If you get any questions at all, please do reach out. If there's anything you're not sure of, any comments you want to make, I'm always here to listen, here to help. And that's us back to the car park. For now, I just want to say thank you again, and I hope to see you soon on one of my other walks.